Shaved my head. 3 millimeters. Kinda like it, still have to get used to it. Also, I have some hats. This is the old timer from the very beginning of my YouTube career. This is the way I was wearing it, right? Hi friends, my name is Borodante. The way I always said it, so awkward. I don't know why I thought that was funny. But yeah, I don't like it this way anyway right now. Like, I think semi-covered ears work much better. You immediately become a lot more attractive when you cover the top of your ears. Yeah, there we go. Now it looks awesome. Yeah, there we go. That's cool. Yep. I don't want to take it off now. I have all these other hats to try. Kinda hot in it though. They just started heating up apartments in my district, so it's kinda hot in here. So I probably not gonna like this winter hat from Collins. So semi-covered, don't show too much forehead. This arc in here is really important to make it right. It should start at the edges of your eyebrows and make a nice thing that goes at a slight perfect arc. Then it looks pretty. Purty. Good hat, right? I like it. Too hot though. And finally this. I bought this last winter, I believe. It's a hat that is a pretty nice looking hat. A bit too military for my taste. But more importantly, it doesn't fit my head. Of course, anything that is more or less strict will show as not fitting my head. And it kind of fits, but in the back you can see how it's really taking advantage of this back strip way beyond the actual size of the hat, of the cap. That's right, this is a cap. But also, what else gives away that this hat doesn't fit my head is this fold right here. This is what happens when the cap is stretched beyond what it's supposed to be stretched. So this almost fits. I still wear it sometimes because I don't have a lot of options. Doesn't really work this way, I guess. This is very weird. Don't get me wrong, I like it the way it is. It's just that when you're bald, it's really a lot easier to wear hats because you don't have to care about what your hair looks like when you're wearing a hat. So it's just there. So I'm gonna tell you real quick about what I got in the delivery today. A new internet router, because my old one, made in Ukraine or Russia, they're all the same and they're all crap, kept losing connection when there's a lot of Wi-Fi devices connected to it. So I had enough of it and bought a Chinese Xiaomi, how do you pronounce that? I have no idea. Pretty cool router. It even has a mobile app, doesn't lose any settings even if you plug it out and in again. But yeah, seems to be working really well and fast. It has 4 antennas, I mean, but yeah, it's seems to be working really cool, and the interface of the settings is also very cool, so that's awesome. What else? Tried to use an HDMI to USB 3 adapter to finally connect my camera to my desktop using HDMI. Still no luck because that adapter was an out adapter, so it again didn't work. FML. Let's paint more outlandish curiosity, I guess. Alright, everything seems to be well set. Let's paint! Right, so this is the previous version of this, the old book of Outlandish Curiosity that Kevin was working on with a different artist before me. So yeah, here it is. And this is the little orange Fishie. And we're gonna reconcept it to fit my art style and whatever. So, in chapter 2, Gilbert tells about where he came from. I grew up in a tiny town called Zert. It is located in the south of Expedia, where the Luminon and the Draenor rivers cross. This made it ripe for fishing. And fishing we did. Generation upon generation, we perfected the craft to a masterful degree. You could thus imagine the surprise when I told my parents where the line ended. They weren't elated, but they understood. I never much cared for catching the fish. I wanted to let it swim and follow wherever it went. Throughout the whole story, we keep meeting the little orange Fishie. The little orange Fishie will be on the cover, Gilbert following it. The little orange Fishie will be under the Garrizzo Bridge. And finally, the little orange Fishie will be at the Pond of Pondering. So this is a little side character that's just appearing on pages whenever Gilbert is just talking about his past or just thoughts, and that fish appears here and there. It's like one of the main little features of the story that will be like associated with the whole world. So we're gonna be painting this little orange Fishie now. Well, how about that? You can sit right over here. Looks pretty cool as it is. Let's try not to make it worse. Actually, how about we look up some little orange fishes? Just to make sure, this is the breathing part, right? Gills, right? That's right, I remember that from one of the stand-ups by George Carlin. This is how I learned the word gills. Awesome. So there's the gills, and right underneath there are frontal fins. Okay, go right here. So from the deep blue. By the way, you see, this is one stroke I did, and it has two colors changing each other all the time. I forgot if I mentioned it ever. There's this feature called transition. And when you apply it, the color will be changing in a certain range that you set up here in the hue. And it's gonna be constantly switching from, in this case, cyan-ish to blue-ish. Or sometimes it will go into a deeper blue and going back to the normal blue. And that's because I also have random on. So it's also randomly changing the direction of this transition to a closer to green or closer to a deeper blue. So this is like a randomizer, but if you just start strokes, they're always gonna be the same color. Only if you make a long stroke, you'll see how the color changes to a different one. Kind of a cool thing, especially when you start, you tend to make longer strokes in the beginning, and it brings in more color variation, and that's kind of cool. I like it a lot. Okay, so at the top, there's some greens that are gonna be switching into the skylight. I'm trying to just set up some of the background mood or something. Okay, let's go lower because the fish is gonna be jumping upwards. I wanna do like the same thing it does in here, but maybe in a different pose a little bit, but also jumping out of the water. And the sky is blue, but much brighter than what we have with the sea, obviously. And the sea as well, reflecting the sky right here. Some fake details of whatever tops of the trees there are sticking out of the shadowy areas. Also, let's add a little stripe of sandy shore. It should be really bright, right? Maybe it's appearing a little bit in this area. Alright, so in here there will be a fish, so what's going on in this part. For now, this is it for the background. More than enough. Now let's search for the shape of the fish. I know it's gonna be orange, right? So I'm gonna select that color. Much saturated because everything I paint for Outlandish Curiosity always has very saturated shadows and less saturated, really bright brights. That's the gamma I chose for this world. This makes everything look very much filled with light and overly saturated in the shadows because of that. So it looks like a paradise rendering, you know? Yeah, this will be the basic color, I guess. Maybe even more saturated. It should be bright, right? So I guess I want to make it jump like this. It feels like the fish, when it jumps out, you know, it does this motion whenever you see it in like a movie or something. It kind of jumps out and does this, like it's hitting itself with a tail on the head. I don't know what that is about, but happens. Okay, so I'm gonna look for the shape a little bit, try to find the character in these features. I think I missed yet another fin, right? It's right here. Please don't look like a penis. You look like a penis, don't you? No, I think it's fine. Also, let's add another swirly right here. Wow, this fish is really gonna be swirly as hell. No, I don't like this. So for now, I'm kind of finally satisfied with the shape of the fins on top, but in general, the body looks a bit stiff and awkward. The face is kind of cool, although the gill looks like an ear. I'm not sure if that's cool or the opposite, so I'm gonna look for that a little bit more. And the shape of the body in general, maybe we should move all the body parts around to make the body a bit different. We'll see. The old vape fucking leaking juice. Gross. Okay, it legit looks like it's standing on its legs and trying to fight me. I think we should rotate these fins the other way around somewhat, because this really looks like fists. Too aggressive. Don't be that. Not doing so great so far. First of all, like, I obviously have to compare to the previous version of it. Mine lacks the awesome dynamics that the previous one had. And just the spread of details is really lame on mine. Like, this is such a huge empty space that looks kind of sad. So I'm gonna have to search for it a bit more after I do some break or whatever, I don't know when. But for now, I think I should let it rest for a little while. The fins, especially this one, is just so lame. This is not a fin. What is this? Some Tim Burton dry tree branch. Have to think with bigger shapes. I guess I'm not used to being so close to the screen, and now I can't see the whole picture. This is some Elvis fish. Oh, there we go. Now it's not an Elvis because I added the value of the fold, and now it's like a big thing that is just folded a bit. So interesting how values actually make a huge difference, like have as much influence on the shape as the silhouette of the object. I think the main thing I don't like about it is that it's so sad. Why is it sad? I mean, it's a fish. Fish is always sad, but not the Outlandish curiosity fish. Yeah, I think this really saves it, because this was like, what is this? And it was even worse before, right? It was somewhere in the back. What is this worm? Okay, so getting better. Guess the tail should be even bigger. Like, big features, big fins and big tail, big eyes, really makes it work as a small fish. Because this didn't feel like a small fish. It feels like a big fish from a greater distance. And this becomes more believable. A huge fish wouldn't have a fin like this in a cartoon logic, you know? Okay, so I think I'm gonna take a bit of a break, an hour or two maybe, but I need some time. This fish and I need to spend some time separately. Okay, so I think this is gonna be it for the little orange fishy. This is as far as I got it. The main thing I fixed is obviously the expression on the fish's face, because it was very dreadful, like, what is up, fishy? So I fixed that, worked a little bit on the values and the colors, added another gill in here. So yeah, I think it works much better, and this top fin right here just saves the whole picture, I think. So I'll send this version to Kevin, we'll see what he says, and then I'll fix it up more. Probably won't film it, you'll see the character in the finished book, I guess, or something. But yeah, this is probably it. How about some highlights? Oh yeah, this looks nice. Let's do a little bit of those. Since we kind of ditched the whole fish scales texture, since this is not exactly supposed to be realistic, so I decided to neglect that detail. Hopefully I made the right choice on that. Oh yeah, this looks kinda nice. So yeah, I guess this will be it for this episode. And I thank you for watching if you did. I guess you did if you're here. Leave a like and subscribe, tell a friend, watch Slither. Do whatever you want, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Okay, you don't look dreadful now, but you kind of seen some shit. Like you were in Vietnam or something. And this one's like, oh no, I'm going to Vietnam.